we believe, halfway through this bull market. And halfway doesn't mean we're halfway through the price increase, because, at the end of a bull market, prices tend to go parabolic. Within the next few months, one will, and it may be not the big ones, it may be an independent RIA like LPL. They tend to move a little more quickly. Once you get one with a spot Bitcoin ETF on its platform, the others will fall in line pretty quick. 2030, so our bull case, bull is over 1.5 million.
Cathie Wood begins by asserting her belief that we are halfway through the current Bitcoin bull market. She clarifies that halfway does not necessarily mean we are halfway through the price increase. Historically, towards the end of bull markets, prices tend to go parabolic, making the latter half potentially more explosive in terms of price appreciation. This assessment is based on chain analytics and a review of Bitcoin's short yet impactful history. Wood highlights the significance of Bitcoin ETF, which were launched in January. Despite their introduction, major financial institutions like Morgan Stanley, UBS, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America have not yet included Bitcoin on their platforms. This hesitation, according to Wood, is due to the due diligence process these institutions are undergoing. However, she predicts that within the next few months, at least one institution will introduce a spot Bitcoin ETF to its platform, potentially triggering a domino effect among other financial giants. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space, and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
We believe halfway through this bull market, and halfway doesn't mean we're halfway through the price increase, because at the end of a bull market, prices tend to go parabolic. So we have no idea where that, but we feel very strongly, just based on-chain analytics, looking at them versus the short 10-year history, a little bit more than that history, that we're halfway through the bull market. What's very interesting, since the ETFs were launched in January, many people think, all right, the boom, and we've had a very nice showing, David versus Goliath. We're in the fight, and very
Congratulations.
happy where we are. Yeah. But not one major, what we call them wirehouses, like Morgan Stanley, UBS, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, not one has put Bitcoin on its platform yet, a Bitcoin ETF. They're all doing their due diligence. And I think what's going to happen is within the next few months, one will, and it may be not the big ones, it may be an independent RIA like LPL. They tend to move a little more quickly. Once you get one with a spot Bitcoin ETF on its platform, the others will fall in line pretty quick. Yes, 2030, so our bull case, bull is over 1.5 million. Our base is in the $650,000 range, so about tenfold from here by 2030. And there are three big building blocks. Institutional is one, and I would put it sounds like retail distribution, but these are institutional decision makers at B of A, Merrill Lynch, and so forth. So that's one. The second is, this is a replacement for gold. So we assume that it's going to subsume 50% of the gold, what would be the gold market, especially as younger people are looking to diversify. And then it is an insurance policy. In emerging markets, I just visited El Salvador and had the pleasure of meeting the top officials there, and they are blazing a trail, making it legal tender and giving their populations or showing the way for other countries to give their
What a brilliant move.
Yes, it is a brilliant. There are two.
What
El
a brilliant move.
Salvador, President Bukele is going after two big ideas, and we're talking about them: AI and Bitcoin. And my mentor and friend Art Laffer, who joined me on this trip, I think is going to be working with that government. It's only a $30 billion economy. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And here
That's
we're
crazy.
talking, and they're going after, they're being very progressive. They're putting in tax policies that are going to encourage innovation. So I think that's a very big idea. Think about that. El Salvador, the entire country, 30 billion.
Yeah.
Argentina is moving in this direction. We've talked to the economics ministers there. They're not ready to go the Bitcoin route in the way that President Bukele is, but they're moving in that direction. They're thinking about it. And then the other insurance policy is for anyone, and in high net worth individuals, but anyone, as a protection against confiscation of wealth, whether that's inflation or outright confiscation because of corruption. It's so interesting how surreptitiously Bitcoin really got into the hands of 50 to 60 million Americans and has become an election year issue. In fact, for many voters, for many voters, it is the election issue, and that is why for the Financial Innovation Technology Act of the 21st century, so FIT 21, was able to attract 76 Democrats. I think when the Republicans basically turned this into an election year issue, whether accepting campaign donations in crypto or saying that they would protect the right for self-custody. That's a big one. That's a very big one for Bitcoin. And we're very much aligned, even though we have an ETF and that could be a centralization vector. We think both are true. Self-custody for the early adopters and those who learn more about the ecosystem, but then just getting people into understanding what this is, how powerful this movement is. That is the role of a spot Bitcoin ETF, because once you own a spot Bitcoin ETF, you want to learn even more about it.
Yeah.
You'll want to understand the risk profile, the return profile.
Wood acknowledges the dual role of spot Bitcoin ETF. While they may introduce a degree of centralization, they also serve as a gateway for investors to understand and participate in the Bitcoin market. By owning a spot Bitcoin ETF, investors are more likely to delve deeper into the underlying technology and its benefits. Wood anticipates that platforms will begin offering spot Bitcoin ETF by the fall. She notes that some platforms have indicated they need 6 to 9 months to evaluate the ETF offerings, suggesting imminent adoption. This development, coupled with the upcoming Bitcoin halving event, could set the stage for significant market movements in the fourth quarter of the year.
Yeah, we tend not to do 1 year, but if we're in the middle of the bull market, I think the next spur is going to be the platforms putting the spot Bitcoin ETF on it. So, and I do think that will happen this year. We were told by some of our prospective clients, the platforms themselves, that they would need 6 to 9 months to evaluate it. So here we are entering the 6th month. So I would expect in the fall, one or more will put the spot Bitcoin ETF, or many of them, on their platforms. And I think that will be the next swoosh then.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
All they have to do.
I remember in I think it was the last halving, many people, we went through the halving and everybody waited for a pop, and it didn't happen. Well, first of all, it didn't happen because there's a lot of anticipatory buying into it. But I've watched it kind of, gestate, shall we say, and then all of a sudden. So those two could coincide in the fourth quarter of this year. It could be pretty exciting. They're risk averse, so they don't and Mike is an incredible evangelist for the space, but that doesn't feel safe, evangelism. It has to, I'd like to think that our research, and we've done a number of white papers, our first one starting in 2015, I'd like to think that kind of methodical approach and studying of the subject, and someone like Art Laffer, who he couldn't be more excited about Bitcoin, because for him, he really believes that, the Fed, many people feel that they have managed monetary policy over the years, so we've prevented terrible things from happening. If you look what happened before the Fed came about in 1913, what happened then is prices were stable. We're on the gold standard. And the economy was very volatile, and you ran into booms and busts, but they were very quick. They were over in weeks. We lead up for years to a crash, an 08-09, poster child for that. And here we are again. We had zero interest rates, and I wonder what the fallout from private equity, private credit, putting enormous sums into real estate and then leveraging it up. We're starting to see the fallout, whether offices
and the post-COVID, right, with the office exodus,
and multifamily now, even in the areas where there's been large in-migration. So the Sun Belt, we're beginning to see multifamily in excess. So we'll continue to see crises, I think. Hopefully nothing like 08-09. I don't think so, but still, 0% for a very long period of time leads to reaching for yield, which leads to bad behavior.
Wood underscores the importance of rigorous research and a methodical approach to understanding Bitcoin. ARK Invest has been publishing white papers on Bitcoin since 2015, providing a solid foundation for their investment thesis. She also mentions Art Laffer, an influential economist who shares her enthusiasm for Bitcoin. Laffer believes that the Federal Reserve's management of monetary policy has often led to prolonged periods of economic instability, and sees Bitcoin as a potential solution. Wood reflects on historical economic cycles, noting that before the establishment of the Federal Reserve in 1913, the economy experienced booms and busts that were typically short-lived. In contrast, modern monetary policy has led to prolonged periods of economic imbalance, such as the zero interest rates that fueled speculative investments in private equity and real estate. As these sectors begin to show signs of strain, Wood suggests that Bitcoin's decentralized nature could provide a stabilizing force. Please like and subscribe my channel.